Hey, everybody. Welcome to Pink Shade. It's Tuesday. It took me a second. It's Tuesday. And so that means we're going to talk about 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After. I am here with one third of my throuple. It's Kimberly. And guess what, guys? Kimberly and I have now met in person.
It
We're
was
friends in real
so
life.
exciting. And you got to
Yes.
see my real life pimple that took over your whole meet and greet.
That's not true at all. It was something that you
It got
thought.
its own grab bag leaving. It was like,
No.
can I grab a bag for myself? Thank you.
No. I went to post our cute picture and I said, Kimberly's really paranoid of this pimple. I go, but usually I just do one swipe to the left on Instagram for a Paris filter. And I go, but I can't, I think that's the best. And Ingrid goes, I would have never noticed it unless you like pointed it out. I was like, because I want to make this post, but do I have to like send it to you so you can like AI, get it out? And she's like, absolutely not. That picture is great. You can't even see it. So I hope you were happy with the picture.
I reposted it and said, look at this pimple, everybody.
Oh, okay. So nobody would have seen it.
Like, draw attention to it. Draw attention to it before anyone else can say anything.
I understand that as well. I do. I used to do that a lot myself
when you were young and self-conscious.
When I was young, yeah,
yeah. I'm still at that phase.
Well, I have a very ugly. I have a really ugly toe. I have a really bad toenail on my toe from when my toe broke when I was in 9th grade, of no fault of my own. It was like a church Sunday school accident. I won't go into the details. But a cabinet fell on my toe and broke my toe. And so, of course, my parents, being the third one, and it was the 80s, were like, it's fine. Like, put some Neosporin on it. Like, it's fine. Never got it checked out. My toe, like, blew up to 4 times its size. The whole thing was, like, black. The whole toenail, of course, fell off, whatever. And it grew back grotesquely.
And it's never recovered?
No. But so what I used to do was, like, get ahead of it. I know you're looking at my toe. And people are like,
I know you're wearing sneakers. I wasn't looking at your toe.
No one's looking at your toe. I was so paranoid about it my whole life. And now I could care. It literally looks like, it just looks like a shorter toe. Everything looks exactly normal. It just looks like maybe that toenail's a little short, but nobody's looking at my toe.
Well, will you post a picture of it since you posted a picture of my pimple?
Sure.
You might get some money. There's a lot of people who are into feet.
Okay, well, I'm not posting it for free then.
No, you should start an OnlyFans just for that.
For weird toenails. But my lady that does my pedicures and stuff, she literally will be like, people will come in here with no toenails. Okay.
Okay, then I feel better.
Okay, I feel better.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I know what you mean. I'm the same way. I'm always pointing things out. Oh, I know you're looking at my face is peeling, but I just had this sunscreen and it made my, people are like, no, I wasn't. But now I can see it. Gross.
Yeah. Yes. But it was so nice to meet you in person, and your listeners are amazing, and they were so nice.
The whole thing was so fun, right?
It was so fun. I stayed like
till the end.
4 hours.
You did?
Till the end, yeah.
You guys were there till the end. Brandy and Julie was there till the end.
They were great. Yeah, I had so much fun talking to them.
So fun. I couldn't believe it. And you guys, this wasn't like a big party. There was like 30 people total.
Yeah, but it was great.
But it was a small space, which made it feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was great. It was so nice. So for everybody that came to the LA meetup on Saturday, thank you so much. And please post your pictures and tag us and all that. It was really fun.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Hope everybody's enjoying their swag. Did you look in your swag bag and see the funny stuff in there?
I loved it. I'm going to sleep with my eye mask. I was going to, I'm so excited about the ring pop, probably more than anything.
Yeah, I had to find like hot pink candy from Amazon, and that's what came up. It was like nerds. And
then I was going to ask you what this was, and then I saw that it started glowing as my apartment got darker and darker.
Yeah.
And then I realized, so I didn't
have to crack it though. You have to crack it.
Well, I need to wait until I go to a rave or something.
Oh, well, that might never happen. So you could,
No, I'm a big going out person now.
Because that's it.
I went out twice this past week.
I know you did.
So, no, who am I? I'm social butterfly. This is the year.
You guys, Kimberly is the tiniest person in person. I was like, I didn't know you were a pocket person. I didn't know you're that little.
That's what Katie says. I am very wide.
No, you're not.
I'm very curvy, but I'm very short.
You're definitely curvy, but I definitely would not say wide. You're just a tiny little curvy person. I couldn't get over it. I was like, look how little Kimberly is. I'm just going to pet her hair all night long. Yeah. So fun, guys. So there's that, but we have to talk about this episode. And something that I got a lot from the listeners that came to the meetup was the excitement about this show or lack thereof. And I said, look, here's the thing. We are covering what's on our television. And this is the show that's on our television. So no, we're not thrilled about Happily Ever After, but we're here to make it funny, so we're going to make it funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
Um,
may hate all these people, but except for
and
Emily and Kobe, and that's fine.
it's kind of fun to hate some of them. Some of
Mhm.
them it's less fun to hate, but I'm still enjoying it. I still get to talk about reality TV all the time. Like, what's better than that?
Some of them we've hated for so long that we could just use a little break from the hating.
That's the thing is
Yeah.
I like feeling listened to, and I don't feel like Matt Sharp is listening to us. I feel
Mm,
like we've all, as a society, been very clear about how we feel about Big Ed, and he just keeps thinking that they can just keep foisting him upon us, and
yeah.
we'll eventually cave. And I'm
Hmm.
not caving.
No. I think in real time they are broken up. So unless he finds another
He'll be
foreign
back on
woman,
the single life.
yeah.
That's where he started. He'll be back on the single life.
Well, that's not where he started.
Oh no, he started on B90.
Yeah.
Then he went to the single life, and then he is in happily, even though he's not married yet. Make it make sense.
And it's not happy at all, by the way.
No, none of it's happy.
Well, I think I told you this, or I told one of the listeners this, that Ingrid, a couple of nights ago, when we got home from one of our evenings, was going to bed and she had the TV on. I just am not a put the TV on in the background kind of person. At this point in my life, I always put on a podcast.
Yeah.
I listened to your podcast today for the second time,
Oh,
which was the lady, the Target parking lot lady,
yeah. Mhm.
swap.
Yeah.
I listened to her for the second time because I was like, oh, let's listen to it. It's soothing to me to have that on in the background, where she always just puts on the TV. She
Mhm.
goes, and that show was on with the guy with the big Ed. And I go, the show that you're the producer for?
Does she not listen
She
ever?
doesn't listen.
Oh my god.
She's never watched these shows. She knows if I say Jasmine and Gino. So then she's like, did we meet Jasmine and Gino at that party in New York? I go, yeah. She's like, show me a picture. I don't believe you. I showed her a picture.
Does she watch any of the shows?
Not the 90 Day. Mm-mm.
Oh my.
Nope. Just Bravo. I said, here's your chance to make good. Start following this Happily Ever After, and then dip in and out. Now Love After Lockup will be coming back in a couple of weeks. I was like, here's your chance to get on board.
I always love most the thing that I start with, whatever genre or whatever iteration of a TV show. And if I started with Happily, maybe I would like it more.
I don't think so.
No, I think I'd still dislike it, but then I'd be pleasantly surprised by B90 or The Other Way, which are more fun.
B90 and before the 90 are the best ones.
Yeah, I think so.
And sometimes, 90 Day original recipe is good too, but we just need fresh faces.
Yes.
This is what we need.
Yeah.
And I hope they're going to give that to us on Love After Lockup. They're going to give some fresh faces.
Oh,
some new
yeah, it
shit
looks
shows.
like it. Yeah, I'm excited. There's a
Yeah.
guy it's a gay relationship with another guy, I think.
A prisoner?
Uh-huh. And I'm really
Ooh.
excited to see that because we haven't seen that before.
No, we haven't. We just get they had a prison boyfriend and then now they're straight. They're,
Yeah.
gay for stay and then they're not when they come out. So I like that. Okay,
Mhm.
good. Let's show us some real life shit.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so let's get started. 90 Day Fiance, Happily Ever After, Season 8, Episode 3. Do you know the name of the episode?
7 dwarfs and Snow White and the 7 chores?
Yeah.
Something like that? But what does
Yes.
that mean?
I
Who
don't
is it
know.
referring to?
What are the maybe it's Sophie and Rob with the list of things that he gave her.
Yes, those weren't really chores.
No,
I mean,
it was just
he did say to clean up. So
Yeah.
maybe you must be right.
Yeah, because I just now, I was like, well, I'll talk it through with Kimberly and we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah. But let's start with the people that we only do just here's what happened with them. And it's Ed and Liz. So tell us what happened with them.
Well, first of all, I watched before More to Love from last week, and there was a whole scene. The only extra scene was Big Ed. So it's like they don't understand that we don't even want them on the TV, but they're also including bonus scenes. They're giving us more. Big Ed. But it actually was the best scene I've ever seen with Big Ed.
Oh,
They went to a rock climbing gym with the daughter, Liz and Big Ed, and the daughter did it. She nailed it. Liz did it for the first time ever. She got to the top. She was so proud of herself. And then Big Ed gets on the rock climbing wall and I'm not body shaming. Again, I'm a very curvy person and very short and I have no upper body strength.
I have no upper body
He
strength
made
either.
like it up two things and then he's like I can't do it anymore, and so he's tried to get down and then he
You can't
fell.
fall. You're on a harness. You can't fall. You're on a
No,
harness.
there's no harness. It's called bouldering or something.
Oh, I
And
don't know.
so you're not harnessed in. And so he fell down on the mats and then fell down on his butt and then on his back. And
Wow.
Liz and the daughter were just howling, laughing at him. And I was as well, because it's really fun when people fall, especially if they're people you don't like. I'm just being real.
Okay. And I'm just going to imagine he looks like a turtle on his back and he couldn't
Yes.
flip over.
Yes.
That's all I can envision. And I know that's awful, but he's a bad person, so I
He's
don't
a
feel bad
bad
about it.
person. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Right.
in this episode, they fight in front of the daughter Riley because
Mhm.
he's freaking out about them spilling a dot of flour when they're making a cake on the kitchen counter. None went on the floor. It was just on the counter. He was
Also,
freaking
guess
out.
what? When there's flour involved, it's going to be everywhere.
Yeah. It's a
So, okay.
kitchen.
And
That's
you
what the
clean it up.
kitchen's for. That's like saying I don't use my toilet because then I'll have to clean the bathroom. So
Right.
then you just don't go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
So Liz hates him and he tells her she's a brat and tells her to smile, which is no. And they're talking this way in front of the daughter, and the little girl has to be the adult in the relationship and tells them to stop fighting. It's all super healthy. And then we cut to Sophie immediately after, and I thought, that was brilliant because Riley, the daughter, will be Sophie in 15 years because
Wow.
this is the relationship she has with the adults in her life. And look at Sophie and her mom, how she was raised.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
this poor girl. Let's intervene and get her some therapy so she doesn't date a guy like Rob and stay with him in the future.
Wow.
And then, oh, sorry, continue.
No, continue.
So Liz went wedding dress shopping
Always love that.
with her family who hates Ed, so that's fun.
Yeah.
The grandma drove 16 hours for this wedding dress shopping.
Could somebody have bought her a flight? I mean,
I know. I loved the one dress she had with the flowers. I really liked that. That was really my style.
me too.
And then, but the second dress she comes out and the mom goes, "That's cute." And I thought, that's not what you say to someone who comes out in a wedding dress. That's cute. I don't feel like cute is the right word. Anyway, she buys the dress. It's $900 and she's really upset about how much money it is. And the mom and the grandma, no one offers to help her pay for it because they hate Ed. So why would they?
They don't want her to marry him, and they
No.
didn't like the dress that she picked, so why are they
Right.
gonna pay for it? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, the recap will be they had a fight, making cakes, and she picks a dress. The end.
The end. Sorry. I get into how much I hate them.
Yeah.
I'm really rooting for the daughter though. The daughter
I
seems
know.
great.
Somebody asked me about that at the meetup. They're like, what do you think about that? Because she didn't have custody of the daughter and now she does. I go, I don't know. Because I've never watched anything with those two. The only thing I ever watched with them two was they had a fight and she like threw her ring in a bush and then she later had to go back and find it. That's
She
all I
was
remember about them.
super drunk and it was nighttime and she had to like climb into a neighbor's like fence.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
He had a drinking problem, I think, and gave up custody of the daughter
She did.
voluntarily for the good of the daughter, I think. And then was
Okay.
working to get her back, which is great. But I don't know why a court would see Big Ed and be like, yes, this is who you're choosing. Take your daughter back. That's great.
Is it her daughter with her first or second husband? Do we know?
No, I'm not sure. Because she had already been married and divorced twice when she was like 24, maybe.
Liz has had a life.
She's rough stretch of road. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's it for them.
Okay. So let's go into the happy spot. This couple is Emily and Kobe. So they're driving to Kobe's dad's house in Cameroon. Now, when I interviewed Emily and Kobe, he told me, yes, there are 10 siblings, but it's all different mothers.
Really?
Yeah, because I was like, "Wow, your mom, she's like a fucking rock star or whatever." He's like, my he basically was like, "My dad's a player, and these are all different
Yeah.
moms." Yeah. Um,
Well, then the dad really has no place to judge anything that Emily and Kobe are doing.
I don't know if this is their culture, if he was divorced from all these women, or if they were all side pieces. Like, I don't know the actual story, but
Mm,
he kind of laughed about it. Like, my dad's had lots of. These are
yeah.
all. It's not just one mom, is what he
Yeah.
said. So, all right, so they're all looking around, and Lisa and David are like, "Is this safe? Like, what's happening?" And he was like, "It's going to be fine. Like, what's your family's house like? Are we going to be safe there?" They're being real touristy about it,
Uh-huh.
and but it's okay. I mean, it's not okay, really, but they're tired and they are nervous. They
Yeah.
also have a full camera crew with them, and I'm sure security, so they're fine.
They're fine.
Also, again, let's remember what Kobe said. He's not taking his wife and children
Yeah.
and in-laws into something he sees as dangerous.
Right.
So let's remember that Kobe makes good decisions.
Yeah.
So they arrive, and there are like 50 people there, and they're all very welcoming. And I loved how little Kobe was like, "Look, they have outfits just like me."
Oh.
It was really cute. Kobe's crying, and he says, "Such a blessing. Like, it's been so long since he was there with all his siblings." And they sing, and Emily dances with the women. It's really cute. And then Kobe's dad, who I think his name is Isadore.
I'm
So
not
that's how it's
sure.
spelled. I don't know if it's Isadore, but looks like Isadore. He gives a peace plant to Emily's parents and says it's in memory and honor of his parents who have passed on. And Kobe just cries.
Every
And
time Kobe cries, I cry.
I know,
I literally cry every time I watch Kobe cry.
I have a cold black heart. But then
Yeah.
I see he's crying, and then Emily's hugging him, and I'm like, I
And
love
you
him
know what
so
else
much.
I wrote down? This is not like me at all. This is the cheesiest thing in the world. I wrote,
What?
smiles are universal.
What?
Smiles are universal.
Why'd you say that? That's
Because none of them speak the same language, but they could tell they all like each other because they're all smiling. And I wrote, smiles are universal. I hate myself. This is not like me at all.
that's very, very, very off brand for you.
I know. Emily and Kobe, they get me right in the feels.
They get me too. They
Yeah.
do. They do. When Ingrid was like trying to like ascertain who all these people were, and I was like, "Welcome to the show that you've been editing for 3 years." When we were talking about that, she was like, "I remember Emily and Kobe because they had such an impact on us when we met them. Really, I mean,
Yeah.
Kobe really because she was like, 'Wow, you're so far from your family and everything.'" And he said to Ingrid, he was like, it doesn't matter if you're not close to your family because family is what you make it. And these people have welcomed me. So this is my
Aw.
family now. And I was just very, very sweet.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
love that.
he just seems like such a great guy. So, um, the peace plant is given. Everybody cries. And, Kobe's dad says, when I saw Emily and Kobe, when I saw them, I had to touch them to be sure they were real. And I'm so grateful they could come here. Like it's like amazing to him that his son went away, went to China, went to America. Like he just really can't believe it. And he's so grateful. And the dad says it was too hard for him to get to the United States for the wedding. So God has made it possible for Kobe and Emily and the kids to arrive. So now is the best moment for this traditional marriage. And she's like, well, we're already married and everything. And I think that it looked like she was given pushback on it, but she's just sort of like, okay, well, what's this?
Yeah.
What?
What does it entail? What do I
Yeah.
have to do? Yeah.
And actually, Kobe probably should have warned him, like, my dad might want to do this traditional ceremony. Obviously, we're married legally, but my
Yeah.
dad might want to do a traditional Cameroonian ceremony. Maybe some warning would have been good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they
So,
don't seem to be against it. They're just surprised.
well, they're like, how do we make the food? Do we have a kitchen available?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
it's just logistics. So everybody says, when? We're not here that long. And Kobe says, we're going to work to find a date. We're going to, and so Emily's like, but do I have to do anything for this? Or am I just like the bride, like in America? And he's like, oh, no, 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 no. You've got to cook all the traditional meals. So he tells that the dad, it's important for Kobe's dad because they get the blessing from the ancestors when they do their traditional ceremony. So the next day, Emily and Kobe get together with Lisa and David. And they're like, let's talk about this wedding. And Lisa's like, we didn't know we were coming for a wedding. Like, And Emily says, God, I feel like this is like the ultimate test, like Cameroonian wife, like 101. Like, will I make it? So Kobe explains the day before the wedding, his family will come and they do a knock door where they knock on the door and they ask for her hand in marriage. Of course, this goes back centuries,
Yeah.
right? You know what I mean? This is so they haven't updated it much, but it's all just traditional. And he says all his children have done the traditional wedding, in addition to the legal one. And
Mhm.
so they will bring a drink to present to the bride's family. And then Emily's family will prepare food and the traditional dishes. That's what Lisa's like, can we make burgers and dogs,
No.
baked beans,
No.
corn on the cob? And they were like, no, it's got to be traditional Cameroonian food. So they're like, okay, we don't know how to do that. I'm sure we'll figure it out. And Emily's family needs to then present their list of demands. The man's family has to pay the dowry. It could be things like goats, cows, pigs in exchange for their daughter,
No water
which is
buffaloes.
water buffaloes, whatever was that couple on 90 Day UK where it was like the list kept growing and she kept like, oh, I forgot this whole page.
Yeah.
It's 400 pounds of flour. It would be like and they had like a whole room at their like community center for these gifts. Like it was incredible. And I forgot this one was on the margins. I forgot. You got to give 8 more cows.
Oh, there's something written on the back too.
Yeah, I forgot.
My
Yeah.
Amazon registry.
Yeah. And so Lisa says, look, this is all fine and everything. But she goes, I think Lisa's trying to be like the feminist in me is saying it doesn't feel good that I'm giving out my daughter in trade for goods. Right. But it's all just about the dowry. It's all just
Their
tradition.
culture.
It's
Yeah.
their culture. So they say, how many people are coming? And Kobe goes, I mean, we've got siblings, probably like 100 people. And they were like, you didn't even have 100 people at your first wedding. And Kobe goes, it's fun. They're all like, we have to make food for 100 people. Like, so I don't know. Because there's a catering system there in their
I
town.
bet his family is going to help out. I don't
Yeah.
think they're going to have to do all this.
Can they throw money at the problem?
Right.
Okay. So let's move on to Ashley and Manuel.
Ashwell
Oh, okay.
or
Manly?
Manly. So they the music was on point. Their intro music was something about having therapy. Like it's very what's going on. They find lyrics to match it, and that's
Well, it's
what
just
they
like Vanderpump Rules. Walking down the street,
yeah.
going to a bar, gonna see my friends and have some shots. Yeah. That's what Vanderpump Rules is. Yeah. Yeah.
So they are on a freeway driving. She's driving. She's not having a panic attack. She's not ugly crying. She's teaching him English and drinking her Starbucks.
Mm.
And he's trying to learn. And then they go to a motorcycle shop. She's basically going to bribe him so that he will let her into his kids' lives. That's her idea now.
With the motorcycle.
With the motorcycle. But he wants the motorcycle because he wants freedom. Because he says, I'm stuck at home. I'm not learning English because I'm trapped at home, which I still don't understand. It's been a year. He has made no strides. There are English classes he could take an Uber to, or he could take them online. I don't understand. And I know English is incredibly difficult, probably one of the most difficult, but in a year, he could learn the basics.
Yeah.
Or he could just watch Friends and learn it that way. That's how a lot of people learn it.
So many people learn by watching just American television, just
Yeah.
picking it up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But so he wants this motorcycle so he can ride around and make friends. I didn't really understand. He says he doesn't have his green card yet, but does he have his license?
I think that what we found from covering these shows is that you're, correct me if I'm wrong, and I know you will, but I believe that if you have a valid driver's license in one country, it's valid for another country.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I believe as long as you're driving on the correct side of the road, I think that
Okay.
then you're all right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess if you're American, you can go other places and rent a car.
And rent a car. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think if he has a license, he's good to go. He's not going to get his green card for a while. I mean, they have to apply for all these things. But after, if he's been there for a year, then he definitely can work.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's not. Well, because he doesn't know English yet, right? So he's not.
Mm,
He could. There are still things he could do, but
yeah.
he's not. I don't know. So he plays a lot of video games.
Yeah.
So he wants to be free in the wind, which is coded language for free from Ashley and her incense. He's like, the house smells like incense. So
Yeah.
they test out one of these motorcycles, and she's sitting in the back, and it swishes his pee pee, and
When
that's
he first got on that motorcycle, though, he made the most crazy orgasm face. He's like, ah! He like looks at the ceiling and has like a full moment. And I think
yeah.
the motorcycle selling guy was like, I don't. That's not what. Don't do
Don't
that on my. Don't do
you
that on
have
my
to wipe that
motorcycle.
motorcycle off now.
Ew.
But then she gets on it, and then it's ruined. Like everything that she touches, it ruins it for him. So I don't know if he even likes her. So he would like to visit his family in New York. I was very confused. I did have to give it a bing because I assumed they were much closer together. But Rochester and Manhattan, or wherever his family lives, is like a 5-hour drive. There
Yeah.
are flights though that are a lot cheaper. But
Yeah.
again, it's been a year, and Ashley has not helped him get to visit them.
So he's going to buy a $80,000 motorcycle to
Right.
drive for 5 hours instead
Yeah.
of getting on a
A
Frontier
flight
flight for
for
$12. Or
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Mm,
But it's because he doesn't want her there, and she
right.
would go. He
Of
needs like
course.
he's very George Costanza, and he doesn't want his worlds colliding.
Mm,
And Ashley's in a separate world, so they find a bike that's comfortable for couples, and he still wants to ride without her to see the family. So they start arguing in front of the nice salesman in Spanish, who understands that they're arguing. I was really worried they were going to make up and then bang it out in the biker shop bathroom, but
right.
no such luck. The shop
Ah,
salesman gives us his take, even though he's only heard the fight in Spanish, but he's seen this fight before. You know, he sees a lot of fights
yeah.
between couples. So he says, in my experience, females tend to look at things through eyes of romance, and guys look at it like, I'm married, but I still want adventure. And that fire in Manuel's eyes, being on a bike, once it's there, it don't leave. And he'll be chasing that the rest of his air breathing days.
Wow. It's like heroin, huh?
Yeah, he's like a
Yeah. He's
poet.
chasing that dragon. Wow.
Also, I don't know how much his air breathing days are going to be because motorcycles are very dangerous.
Yeah. They're
And
terrible.
also, Ashley's a very scary driver. So if she's on a freeway,
You know what
she's
they
not
call
crying.
that? You do know what they call that on a motorcycle, right?
What?
The bitch seat.
Yes,
Yeah.
she won't like that. She will
But by the
not
way,
allow
would
that.
would anybody want to ride a motorcycle for 5 hours?
It sounds very uncomfortable.
God, it sounds awful. Okay.
So she basically was going to buy him a motorcycle so he'd let her into his kids' lives, but he wants to use the motorcycle to get away from her, to go see his kids without her. Irony. So as they're leaving the shop, he's like, "Okay, mom, do you want to change my diaper too?" And she says, "You're acting stank." So they storm out. So she decides to take him to a spiritual vibes botanical place.
Sure.
And inside is a lot of candles and a lot of like indigenous people figurines.
Okay.
And he's freaked out. He thinks the song that's playing is The Devil's Got a Hold of Me. So it's spot on. It's on the nose. The owner's name is Clementina, and she speaks Spanish. So they try to explain. Ashley says, I'm a witch, and nice to meet you. And he's getting used to me being a witch, but where he comes from, witch is bad. And he says, yeah, we think of witch as an evil woman with an ugly face. And I thought, show him Charmed, he would learn English, and we could move on from this storyline because
You're
he'd
right.
see that witches are hot.
That's great. Yeah.
So Ashley says there are some blockages in his throat, and that's we have communication issues. Also, he's not learning English, and it's all stemming from his throat. So
Okay.
the owner wants him to take a spiritual bath, and he says, "I'm Catholic. We don't do that." And he says, you can do what you want with your witchiness, but I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And she says, little does he know it was my witchy powers that got him here. I did some ritual work, and the next day we were approved.
Approved what? Like for the K1
Like his
visa?
visa. Yeah.
Oh, I thought to get to the witch shop. I was like, to get to the witch shop, she drove him there. And he
No,
has nothing else to do. So obviously he had to go. Yeah.
the ritual work is what got their visa approved, apparently.
Oh, okay. Wow. All right. Could they can help out Jasmine's kid with that? That'd be great.
Exactly. So the owner shows him, like, it's just, I thought it was like bath salts, but not the kind that make you eat someone's face, the kind that go in your bath. And that's it. And he says, okay, I'll do that. So she takes this opportunity to yell at him again about going to New York and seeing his family. And she
Mhm.
keeps pushing him. Finally, he says, okay, I'll introduce you to them. And it's like such a fight. It's so bizarre. Again, they've been married for a year. This should not be a fight. This is,
No, I agree.
and I started to think, is he embarrassed of her? And then it sort of starts to come out that he's worried they won't accept her. And
Yeah.
then there's more that will come out. So finally, Manuel, this was a big episode for them. They had like a bunch of scenes. He's
Yeah.
at an English class and is kind of making an effort. I do not think this teacher is the right fit for him, unfortunately. This teacher does not seem to have a lot of patience with Manuel.
Well,
Very
this is
sweet,
this
hot
is just what
lady.
we saw clipped together, and also he's bugged because there's a camera there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. I think maybe a hot lady he would listen to more.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I agree with
So,
that.
like Jasmine could teach him.
Can you imagine if Jasmine in one of her bikinis with just nipple covers and a tiny floss
Mhm.
up the vajay
Mhm.
came in as your English teacher? Yeah.
She could do one of those, like, take off every time you get something right, I take a thing off, which Angela was doing on 90 Day Diaries with Michael. She on
What?
video chat, she was quizzing him about America and
Yeah.
their tests that he had to take. And so it was like, what city are you gonna live in? And he said the right city, and she's like, okay. And then she takes off her jacket. Like she was doing it like he wants to see her naked. So he's
I
more
don't know if we're going to see Angela and Michael on this show.
I know we're only on episode 3. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Rumors are swirling that they're cutting them out altogether.
I mean, it's not a terrible idea.
No, it's not. Right.
So, he is there at home, and it's not the bath salts that I thought. It's actually she's making a brew of all of this stuff, and there's eggshells and I don't know, frog's eyes. There's like a bunch of ingredients in like a cauldron. It looks like tomato soup. And they take it outside
And
because
by cauldron, you mean like the pan they made chili in last night?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And they take it outside to this tree in the backyard because she thinks it's a magic tree because it's black walnut, which apparently sucks up the bad energy.
It kills everything around it.
Kills
So why do you
everything.
have that tree in your yard?
I know. Is it going to kill those raccoons that were living in it? Do they have good energy then, I'm assuming?
The
So
raccoons were a little too close for comfort for me.
it was a lot of
Yeah.
trash pandas. So he is playing along like, demon, get out of me, witch. Like he's totally playing along. And then the raccoons scare the crap out of him. Like he thought it was a devil there and they were
Me too.
possessed.
Me
But
too.
she thinks they are a good sign. He's like, we have raccoons in Ecuador. They're telling me to not do the bath. And she's like, no, it's a good omen. So
he was very funny this episode, Manuel.
he is entertaining.
Yeah.
So she makes him strip to his boxers and stand over a blue tarp in the backyard, and or if she could kill him and dispose of the body on Dateline.
Why didn't they get like a big tub and make him sit in it? At least the water would be warm.
A
Yeah.
kiddie pool or something.
Yeah.
So she gives him like a sponge bath with the water that's all mixed together, and then they start fighting whilst he is all wet in his boxer shorts. And again, these poor neighbors. What have these people seen going on in her backyard? She's
They've
either
seen it.
screaming, hyperventilating, or doing spells on people.
Yeah.
Or she's probably like rubbing crystals on goats or something. I don't know what she's doing, but they've seen some stuff. And then finally,
Rubbing crystals on goats.
finally we get to the crux of their issues. He he admits what it is. His family is Catholic. And while he has kind of gotten over her being a witch, he does not think they will get over it very soon. And he wants her to lie about being a witch and tell them she works in a gym, which
But
is
she
only a
does.
partial lie because she's
Yeah.
a spin instructor. She's very upset because, Ashley, I'm not going to hide who I am. And so she's not. Are you embarrassed of me? Yes, he is embarrassed of you. So that is the reason he is giving now for why he's been so cagey for an entire year
It's
about.
interesting, right? He probably does feel that, like, if his family is, they're very Catholic, and
Mm,
now they got to meet this girl who, like, renounces all type of thing, and she just wants to feel the energy from the raccoons by the black walnut tree or
yeah,
whatever. But I think that let's dip our toe in. Let's just say she is a spin instructor. She's an exercise instructor, and she helps people on the side with like crystal healing. And you
therapy.
could
Yeah,
therapy,
exactly.
like alternative therapies.
Yeah. Hmm.
You don't have to go into the whole witch part of it. You could just dip
The
in.
word really bothers him.
Yeah,
But she proudly uses the word because she's trying to reclaim the word, which
I
I
get
get.
it.
I
Yeah,
totally get it.
yeah.
Um, but their culture is different. So you might want to just ease in
Ease in,
like a bath with some bath salts.
or somebody giving you a sponge bath over your head in the yard on a blue tarp.
Yeah, either
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, they had a big episode this week with these
Mhm.
two, and I gotta say, Manuel, I find very funny.
Mhm.
Hmm. I can't wait for him to
English.
really speak English. He
Yeah.
had enough to go like, this is very weird. She's
Yeah.
like, he learns fast. Yeah,
That he could learn if it was all making fun of Ashley. That's what he needs. He needs the teacher to harness his sarcasm.
yeah,
Why did I say I said sarcasm?
sarcasm.
I'm tired. If they could, you know what I'm saying? Like come
Yeah,
up with phrases that were mocking her, I feel like he would learn them really fast.
yeah, yeah. Um, okay, let's move on to Sophie and Rob. So she's
There
heading
was a
back.
Rob, a British Rob on our Dateline that we recorded yesterday.
Oh
And
yeah.
I called him Rob the Knob.
Oh,
Katie
okay.
laughed. Yeah.
Had she ever heard that
No,
witty?
she saw the season. She got it.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. She got it right away. I didn't, of course, didn't get to watch any Dateline this week because I've been on this trip to LA, and so,
Yeah.
which
It was a
this.
repeat.
Oh, was there an update to the, like? Was there?
No, I don't think so. I think it was a full on classic repeat. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, yawn. It is late at night. Sorry about that, guys. So Sophie and Rob. She's headed back to her apartment with Rob. She's like, I'm saying Rob's apartment. She's like, but it's also my apartment. And she's got one suitcase. They have a giant kayak in their den or in their walk-in area that I had to stare at it a little bit to figure out what it was. Um,
They
Later
had,
we see kayakers in the B-roll, so I was like, okay, it's a kayaking area there in
okay.
Austin. All right.
I can't see either of them kayaking
No, I can't either.
unless it's
So
for the Insta. Like they would go out for 5 seconds, get the shot, and then
yes,
go back in.
yes, it's for the selfie gallery. So he shows her that he got for her slash stole for her some flowers. And he tells her how he had to jump out of an Uber to get them out of someone's yard. And then
Oh
she
my
touches
God.
them and pricks her fingers, and there we go.
That's
Um,
symbolic. Walk away.
so they're on top of a notebook with some of
Piece of
Rob's
brick. There we
Rob. Ah, they're on the top of a notebook with some of Rob's musings, Rob's notes from Rob. And she goes, "Oh, what's this?" And he goes, "Oh, I was just thinking like it's a list of things that'll be like really helpful from you that'll help us cohabitate. Things that for you to help us cohabitate." So
Yeah,
he
he has
forgetting that
a
she
list
fucking moved out
because of him.
because of him.
Then
This is just
he does
things that
have a list.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is just things that are going to help us in our day-to-day relationship. And she goes, "Okay." So she looks at it and it says, "Wash off dishes before putting in the sink. Put dirty clothes in the bin. Put away your makeup and things after use. Don't get mad at me when you don't get what you want, and don't focus on the past." Okay. So we went from wash off your dishes to don't focus on the past. So
Change your personality.
what is this? She says, "This is like a to-do list for me. This is not for us. And it's just telling me not to be messy." We've never talked about me being messy. You've never said that you think I'm messy. And he goes, "Well, it's a piece of a bigger problem." And she
What?
goes,
Did he online cheated because she was messy?
she said, I left because of you and the text that I saw in your phone with other girls, not because I didn't put my makeup away in a proper amount of time. And he's
This
like,
is
well, no.
insane. It's so backwards.
She was like, now you're trying to completely flip the script and come up with a brand new thing that I did wrong. Like, what? Then they get into a wild discussion about counting toilet paper.
Oh my God.
Because she says, look, we've got to get to a place where, you know, you can't try to turn everything on me and you're trying to control me. And he goes, how am I trying to control you? Give me one example. And she goes,
You just gave me a list, mother effer.
okay, are you going to say right now that you don't count the toilet paper rolls? And he goes, what? And she goes, do you do that? But you could tell he was very caught off guard with the cameras with that.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, well, I mean, you use a whole roll in a day. It's so inconsiderate. And she goes, I'm a girl. Also, I'm imagining if they bought like cheap one ply paper,
You have to use
absolutely you would use a roll in a day
you
as a
have to
girl,
use like 4 times as much if it's
four
that
times as much.
thin stuff. My mom buys that.
Yes. And she goes, she looks at him. She goes, who is counting people's toilet paper? He goes, you use a whole roll in a day. It's so inconsiderate. And she goes, Rob, you have issues.
Yeah.
She said, you need some fucking therapy. And that's the only thing that's going to help our relationship because this is insane. We're talking about counting toilet paper.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's just looking at her. And he goes, I've said, I'll do anything I can to help. She goes, well, you have to have therapy. Like there's no way.
Right.
And
What he says, I'll do anything, but she's telling you the answer.
you
Therapy.
have to go to
That's
therapy
the
because
thing. Will you
you're
do that?
counting my toilet paper.
And he's telling on national TV that she spends all day in the bathroom too.
Right.
It's
Yeah. He's like,
embarrassing.
you're in there all the time.
Yeah.
She's like,
Don't say
so
that about a girl or anybody.
so she says, okay, well, I'm not going to stay over because I don't want to argue. And I also don't want to feel forced and rushed into moving back in. So we're just going to need to ease into it. So he's like, you're really not going to stay? It means like sex, And she goes, no, I'm really not. And so she leans over and gives him a hug. And he goes, 2 arms. Last time I just got 1 arm. So it's something. She goes, you're spiraling. Bye-bye. And she leaves.
Turns out giving the woman you cheated on a to-do list of things she has to fix is a real lady boner killer.
I mean, can you imagine? She left the house. He's like, oh, probably what she needs is for me just to make a list as how she could be better.
It's mind-blowing. It's Twilight Zone.
It should be like, here's what I'm going to do. Yeah.
If a man cheats on you and he's begging you to come home, you give him the list.
Right.
He doesn't give you a list.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, so the next thing we see from these two is he gets some flowers from the grocery store, not ones that he stole.
Thank God, at least.
He goes to pick up Sophie. He's like, I'm going to try again. He says, she really is into me doing like nice, soft things for her. So we're going to go on a date. We're in Texas. We're going to learn how to 2-step. So that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
So they sit down outside and he says, instead of a list, I have something to read to you. And it's a poem. I'm not going to read it to you here, but it's not terrible. It's very 11th grade boy, but it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I mean, her expectations are so low.
Yes.
Write down a few things on your phone and buy a flower.
Right.
That's all she's asking.
Yeah. Take me on a date. Yeah.
Just be nice to me.
Yeah. And she was like, it's very sweet. And she hugs him and kisses him. And she was like, you're a poet. He goes, I'm not a poet. Like he's real mad about that.
Oh,
not a poet.
Too effeminate, I guess.
No, not a poet. She goes, Rob, it was very sweet. It's really nice. It was really good. And he's like, all right, fine. And she says, I think it was an amazing step for us. He was able to sort of like put it down, in writing, whatever. Then they try to learn to dance, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, fast step, 1, 2, whatever. And then she shows us her country accent. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
And then she was like, okay, so while we're here, we're getting along. My buddy Callum is coming to visit. He's like, what's he look like? She's like, he just looks like a guy. It's anyway, let's go. Fast, 1, 2, slow. Yeah. So probably they banged that night because she's trying to soften the blow of Callum coming to
I
visit. Because
don't know if she could bang after that denim
no,
outfit is so tight that is
yes,
gonna cause chafing. It
it's
was
definitely going to hurt her fertility. Yeah.
exactly.
But listen, she's got a banging body and she
She
wears those
does.
outfits, and
Go for
God
it.
bless.
It
God
doesn't seem
bless.
very comfortable.
Oh, let's move on to Nicole and Mahmoud. They made it one day before somebody threatened to leave the other.
That yeah, God, I thought that's actually longer than I thought. I thought maybe at the airport they would happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so let me find my notes. It's like my phone just erased it because it
It doesn't want us to talk
it,
about them
it
since
hates her.
rejected it.
Oh, I did think who her red short mushroom haircut reminds me of is Toad from Super Mario Brothers. Thank you. So I'm we should do a side by side. So she it's their first morning together. She brought him donuts. She's a little annoyed that the night before he didn't wear his new pajama bottoms that she thrifted for him.
Hmm.
But she did say the night ended up well, which I think means they had quick, dry, quiet sex.
Quick, dry, quiet sex.
And now you're all picturing it. You're welcome.
Gross. Oh my God.
He doesn't like the donuts. Shocker. She could have gotten him something from his culture to eat, but she's
Yeah.
like doing the throw him in the deep end
Oh yeah, she is.
method.
Yeah.
Welcome to America. We like donuts.
Yeah.
There are like dozens of Egyptian and Middle Eastern bakeries and restaurants in LA that
I'm sure.
he could find his own food.
Yeah.
So she's taking him to Santa Monica Pier for the day, and he's bringing his prayer shawl so he can keep up his prayer schedule. He seems in a pretty good mood now that he's gotten some sleep and
And sex.
that dry, quiet sex. So they go to a beach shop, and she jokes with him that he should wear one of those shirts that it's like a t-shirt that has a bikini printed on it. And
Yeah.
he is laughing. He would never, but they're laughing, and he tries on an American flag cowboy hat, and they take a
Mm.
selfie by the beach. And then they chat about America. He's not sure what he thinks yet. She just wants him to feel comfortable, and I just don't think he's ever felt comfortable in his life. I
I
think
agree.
I think that I don't know if that's because of his religion. I think if you're in a very strict religion growing up, you might not you're always kind of scared you're going to do something wrong. Like
Mm.
if you were raised like uber Catholic or something like that, like he just seems very always on edge. That might just be his personality and have nothing to do with his religion.
I feel like it's his personality because
Yeah,
I mean, his brother's not like that.
that's true.
Yeah,
And
I
I
think
am
it's
constantly uptight and anxious, and my religion is very casual.
I think he's
So
just a weirdo.
he's
I
just
mean,
okay, he's just a
yeah.
weirdo. So they walk along the pier, and he seems sad and homesick, and she wants him to smile more and be happy. Everyone in this episode is just telling people to smile, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
Um, so they walk by this woman who is dressed with a hijab over her head.
Mhm.
Nicole flips out. She says, and we are only seeing the back shot. The camera is from behind them. So we can't totally see his expression.
I
He
watched it the second time. I was really trying to see if the camera was trying to give us like a, "Wow, he's really staring."
he wasn't staring.
I
He
think he
literally
I
I
think
think
he
he
clocked
glared.
it.
He
Yeah.
clocked it as you would. You're in a new city and you see someone that is the same religion, presumably, as you. And he probably was like, oh, cool. Like, I didn't know if I would see that here. That's
Yeah.
nice. I'm homesick and there's someone from my religion.
Yeah.
But she flips out. She like says, "You stop dead in your tracks to stare at her. If you want to be with a Muslim woman, then go do it. Am I not Muslim enough for you? After that incident, I'm putting your A back on a plane. You can just go back to Egypt if you want to be a womanizer."
That was so wild, and generally in whatever happens with them these 2, I'm generally kind of on her side
Yeah,
because he
usually. Yeah.
but wow, this was like so
This
First
was
of
like
all,
Brandon and Mary, like, because he
yes.
sat next to a woman on an airplane.
Yeah.
He was cheating on her. Like, why Mahmoud is a womanizer now? Because he has eyes?
But remember when he was texting that girl about the TV and she found it in
Oh,
his
yeah,
phone?
that
Remember?
girl wanted to buy a TV from him, and
Yeah.
Nicole made it seem like they were sexting.
Yeah. Because he was saying, like, "What are you doing right now? Are you watching television?
"How old
What
are
are you
you?"
watching?
He
Yeah,
did
how old
ask,
are
"How
you?"
old
Yeah.
are you?" Yeah.
Listen, I don't think again, I'm generally always on her side because I think he's kinda ugh.
Yeah.
But in this situation, he literally is like a zombie walking around because he flew for 40 hours and barely got to sleep, and then she had to bang him, and then he woke up and had to eat sugary donuts. He's out of it.
Yeah.
I don't think he did anything wrong here. I
He
really
didn't
don't.
do anything wrong. He literally just looked at a person and then looked at probably at someone else and then looked
Yeah.
at a child eating ice cream. He's
Yeah.
taking in the sights and he
Yeah.
saw someone wearing a hijab and probably got a little happy. It did not mean he wanted to bone that lady.
No. No. Gross.
She's
Stop.
losing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's as uptight as he is. So like I don't think
Right.
she ever feels comfortable either. Maybe that's always why she wants him to feel comfortable and happy because she does not exude any happiness or joy either. They just suck. They're like dementors. They suck all the joy out of every room they're in. And
You're
I
right.
apologize for saying it's his religion because I think it's just them.
I
It's
think
the
they both just have terrible personalities.
sincerely no personalities. Yeah.
There's no chemistry between them. There's no even like a feeling of like kinship and friendship, like a joking back and forth. Like it's very everything is very
Forced.
stiff and forced and uncomfortable. Yeah.
Mhm. Like they barely know each other.
Yeah. Like they barely know each other.
Like they work at the same company and one of them switched departments and now they've been assigned as team members on
Mm.
some project and they have to like the boss is like go to lunch, get to know each other.
And it's so awkward.
It's so
Tonight,
awkward.
tonight, Ingrid and I went to dinner with some friends, and she's like, "All right, in my mind, I'm coming up with like a list of things we can talk about." I go, "You're not going to need a list.
That's
These
what
are
I do because I get so nervous about social
yeah,
anxiety.
these are our friends that we're gonna literally." And of course, she would never shut up the whole meal. I was like, "Of course, you're having the best time."
Of course you were late for podcasting because the
Yes,
dinner went
I was
so
late for podcasting, and the dinner went so well. I was late. I'm sorry.
no, it's fine.
Um, it's really not fine. It's actually
I wasn't doing
pretty.
anything.
It's really pretty unprofessional.
It's
But we met last night in person, so now you know me, and you can see me in person that I'm maybe
exactly. You can
don't
be
always
rude and whatever. It doesn't matter.
don't always have it together.
Yeah.
So let's go to Jasmine and Gino.
Oh,
So I got to tell you, this was this was sad for me. The Jasmine part of this.
the music started out really sad too. They were giving them like that heartbreaking piano chords.
Yeah,
It's like, oh,
I felt for Jasmine this episode. I really did.
I know.
I really did. So they go. They're going to a coffee shop after meeting with a lawyer, and she says to him, "You know, I'm so overwhelmed and sad. Like I'm just so overwhelmed." And then her talking head, she goes, I'm so upset. I disappointed. Disappointed is the word I can use. Like, I'm so disappointed. She's crying. So in the coffee shop, she says to him, you know, I never thought it would take 2 years to get my kids here. And we could have avoided this if we had an attorney and just omitting the kids' names, like fucked the whole thing up. She's not being yelling. She's not being
No.
crazy, Jasmine. She's generally so sad and trying to talk it through.
Mhm.
And he's fully on defense because he knows it's his fault. And he goes, okay, so I messed up one
Oh
thing,
my god. That's like I murdered someone. Sorry.
one
I killed
time,
one person.
just the one thing. And she goes, but it was the thing. And she goes, listen, Gino, I don't want you to be in charge of this anymore. You know, you're not a lawyer. And I know you have good intentions, but you screwed this up. Like you screwed up my life with this here. And she's saying it very calmly. Her words aren't nice, but she's saying it calmly. And she goes, so we are hiring a lawyer. We're hiring a lawyer. And he goes, wow, wow, screwed up your life. That's a pretty strong statement. Um, I'm going to do it just like I've always done it. I'm going to do it. And I can do it just like I've done it before. And she starts crying. She goes, you promised me we would do the process to bring my kids. You promised me. Gino, please hire a lawyer. I can't take the risk. Please hire the lawyer. And I feel like she's appealing to him, like, as a man, like, please
Yes.
take care of me like you said you would.
Yeah.
She's not being verbally abusive to him.
No.
She's being sort of raw and open, like, this is what you said you would do. And he says, no, no, I don't have money for a lawyer, because of the wedding and the expenses there. I can't afford a lawyer. So we get Gino in his talking head and he goes, oh, she's putting all the blame on me, but we're both responsible. But I'll
Not
work on the
really.
process myself. I'll get the kids here. It just may not be on her time frame. That's not cool at all.
Is this the man you want as the stepfather to your children that won't give up $5,000 for to get them here
Yeah.
and will not really apologize?
Also, get a fucking job, Gino. He's
Just
an
get a
engineer.
job. You could make good money. Just say you're sorry. Again, all of these fights could end if you just apologize.
Yeah, but he's still not gonna bend to what she wants.
Imagine you're at a coffee shop and
Oh,
you're
I know.
working on your screenplay in public so that people will ask you about your screenplay.
Oh, okay.
And that's what happens here. And Jasmine is crying at the table next to you. I would
Yeah,
transcribe their whole fight for my screenplay
I
because
would too.
she's gold. Like,
I would be doing moment by moment updates for Twitter. Remember
yeah,
people used to do that? I love
yeah,
those
right.
stories so much.
Oh yeah, someone's like on a plane and like
Yes.
listening to a fight and the
Yes.
people in front of them. Yeah,
I'm so invested. I'm like, tell
yes,
me what happens.
yes,
Yes. Um, so Jasmine says, okay, now this is me. So I came in from this dinner where I was running late. I had to watch the last 4 minutes of this and take notes while I was setting up. So I was talking it into the microphone
yes.
of the computer. So here's what I'm going to think that I was trying to say. Um, he says, all I get is a bunch of bullshit from you when I busted my ass for 2 fucking years. And she goes, okay, so this is bullshit to you because I'm crying to you about my kids? I'm asking you for help. I'm begging you. I'm begging you, Gino, to help me. And he says, and I'm telling you, I don't have $5,000 to pay for the lawyer, and I'm going to do it myself. And she says, your list of priorities are different from mine, and I don't know if our marriage can survive this, Gino. And I mean,
She
now
shouldn't really be talking about priorities when she just like
well,
stole money to pay for her butt implants that were it was for her wedding dress.
a lot of people at the meetup last night were like, it's hard for us to feel sorry for Jasmine about the money when she
Yeah.
keeps spending the money on these, surgeries and stuff.
Yeah.
And by the way, she has OnlyFans and she probably makes $5,000 in a week.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, and she needs to ask money for her mom's like tests, right?
Yeah, she's got to ask the $800 for that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's when she says, your list of priorities are different. I don't know if our marriage can survive this, Gino. And again, she's not freaking out Jasmine style. She's speaking calmly, and he crosses his arms and said, and she said, Gino, you're not ready to be a father. Like, you don't give a shit about me. You only care about yourself. And if you're going to be okay. And he goes, Jasmine, you're completely screwed up in your fucking dumb head. She is, I mean, she's crying about her children. Now, she doesn't use nice words, but she's not doing the whole like, your dick doesn't work. I mean, like she's not going that low like she
Yeah.
usually does. Like, you're
Yeah.
ugly and I should have fucked Dane.
Mm-hmm.
She's not doing that. She's just crying and saying like, you're not doing what you said you would, and you're not going to be a good father to my kids if I can't get you to understand
Mm-hmm.
how important this is. Then he says, you're completely screwed up in your fucking dumb head. And she says, what an ass. Wow, what an ass. And he said, you're the ass. Because,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
as we know, that's his only comeback is to
Mhm.
repeat what she said back. And she says, I don't want to be here, Gino. I want to get divorced from you. I have to go back to Panama. I don't think you can ever make me happy. I'm not a priority in your life. I just want to be with my kids. And she's crying. Now, these are things normally, if she says screaming, they pack so much more of a punch.
Yeah.
But because she's saying them so calmly, it's a little eerie.
It is. It's like, yes, it totally, because when she's normally yelling and she says, I'm going back to Panama,
Yeah.
it's like, take a shot. It's like a drinking game.
Yeah.
But she says it eerily, calmly.
You
You're
believe
like,
her.
she might be serious this time.
Yeah. Yeah. Because she says, you'll never make me happy. I'm not a priority. Like, you don't care about me. You don't care about the kids. And he says, you're putting all of this on me. And you're just as much as I am to blame for getting your kids to the United States. And she starts crying. She goes, "You're right. Yes, you're right. I blame myself. This is my fault. You're right. I should have never come here without them. It is my fault. And that is why I feel so bad." And so
Oh,
what can he say to that? Like, she's agreeing.
it's hard because I sometimes say she's not the greatest mother. She makes bad decisions.
Yeah.
And then when she says it and cries and says, I'm the worst mother, then I feel horrible.
Yeah. Because she's really seeing, like, I should not have come here not knowing when my kids could come. She
And
should have for
putting it
sure,
all in Gino's care. Like,
she should have been more involved in the paperwork and the
yeah,
process. She is a smart, educated
he's
woman.
way smarter than Gino.
She
Like,
could have read it and figured it out.
100%.
Yeah. She just trusted him to do the right thing.
Hmm.
Um, and so the talking head, he goes, "Look, I've told her I'm going to do everything in my power to bring the kids here. But, I don't think she should say I'm not cut out to be a dad just, because I can't hire a lawyer. Like, that's bullshit." That's not what she said. Um, so he gets up and walks out of the restaurant, and she's just bawling, crying in the restaurant. And the talking head, she goes, "I've never seen this side of Gino. And I think I do need to go back to Panama because he's not a good husband. So he won't be a good dad. I don't want to have kids with him. I should have never dragged my children into this," which, we see a lot on these shows. They have this regret of like, wow, I dragged my kids into this, like calling this person dad. And then, of course, he
Yep.
left,
Yeah.
Love after
Also,
lockup.
I need him to stop wearing a bowler hat and a red shirt because he looks like Freddy Krueger.
Great point. He loves a pleated pant, a pleated granddad pant, and a fedora that he flattens
Yeah.
instead of having it flip. It's a look. It's a look he's got going on. Next time on 90 Day Happily Ever After, Ashley and Manuel go to a Catholic church
Oh,
where,
this is the best.
where she goes, "What's that book?" He said, "It's the Bible." Yeah.
I
I mean,
did.
that was so funny.
What's that book up there?
Yeah. But it's
What
good.
do you
I
think
think
it is? It's Harry Potter. What do you think it is?
it's Harry Potter book 8. But it might be good for her to see, like, there's spirituality in all types of ways. It doesn't have to be your way.
I think
So,
she's
yeah.
just as judgmental of his religion as he
Mm,
is of her Wiccan witchiness.
hmm
So they do need to see where the other person is coming from. Yeah.
That's a good point. So Kobe is getting his hair done, and his buddy says, "Is Emily naggy? Like those horrible American women? Is she naggy?" In Cameroon, the women cannot be like that. And when people leave Cameroon, they are not happy. They're 99% unhappy.
I don't know where these statistics are coming from.
Yeah. And then Kobe's just like
She is
stuck in this chair getting his hair
100%.
done. He was like, "What do you want me to do?" Right.
Yeah.
Sophie's hot friend, Callan, comes to visit. And Rob the Knob does not like hot friend Callum.
No.
No. Big Ed and Liz's mother have a conversation at a barbecue where he cannot be bothered to put down his plate to chat. He's like, plate is right at his face level, so he can just
And
shovel it
it's
in while he's talking.
not, it doesn't appear to be one of those. This could be one of those
No.
commercials for strong paper plates. You know,
Yes.
they're always at a barbecue with
Yes.
a cheap paper plate and the mac and cheese goes flying, and that's the commercial. And
Yes.
that's his plate is sinking from the weight. It's
Yeah.
not, he needs to double plate it.
We got all this from the 4-second clip, and I could not agree with you more. That's all I could eyeball.
And he's not setting it down when her mom wants to have a serious conversation
Yeah.
about
The
their
food can
marriage.
wait.
Yeah.
You'll still get a plate of food. It's okay.
Calm
Put
down.
it down. Put it down.
I can't eat during those stressful situations.
No, I can't either. Yeah. Mahmoud and Nicole continue to fight, and she's like, "Where are you? You got a lift? What do you mean?" And we see him walking, and she's walking, and
He's in the big city all by himself. It's like Home Alone 2 lost in LA. He's going to run into Donald Trump.
what do you mean you got a lift? Yeah. I think pretty fast learning if in one day he figured out how to get a lift. That would be fast.
I know.
That would be
Do they
fast.
not have any sort of tax? Do they not have Lyft in how does he get around Egypt? He drives.
I
Does he have a
guess.
car? I can't remember. Yeah, he has a car.
I felt like he had a car.
Yeah.
Jasmine looks at wedding photos, so I don't know if they're with like the wedding photographer and she's showing them their
Was
book.
that a family member of Gino's, or was that a photographer? I was going to ask you. Is that like one of the sister-in-laws or something?
I didn't know if it was the photographer, like, "Let me show you the book I put together."
It must be the photographer. Yeah.
Or I was like, "Are they in therapy?" And the therapist said, "Bring the wedding photos so we can talk about the,"
Oh, it
I
did
could
look like it could be a therapy office.
that's what I thought initially. But she cries saying like, "This was such a happy day. Remember when he took his hat off and we had a non-vegetarian meal and I'm vegetarian.
Yeah.
They served ribs." Um, but she cries and says, "I can't believe I thought I would have a happy life." And that's it. We
I
haven't
wonder
seen
how
Michael
much
and Angela, and we haven't seen Lauren and Alexi, so we'll see.
they do need therapy, but now I'm
Yeah,
worried. Anytime they spend money now, I'm thinking that money could go towards getting the kids here.
yeah, yeah. Think about her ass cheeks.
Just zip that sucker out. I don't know. Is it an
Yeah.
implant or is it injections? I don't know how
It
it
was
works.
she had butt implants, and
Yeah, returnable though. I don't.
what was it, $10,000?
Yeah.
She could have brought her kids off double speed.
Yep.
Yeah. Damn it.
But I'm sure we've all spent money on things and then wished we'd had that money later. I mean, I haven't because I'm very cheap, but I'm sure most people have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I feel that when I get home from this trip, I will have felt that way about the full 8 days I was here. Although I haven't bought any purchases, we are going tomorrow to 2, like, fancy consignment stores that Katie has recommended.
Oh,
Yeah. She wrote and was like, "You gotta go to this, you gotta go to that." And we're
I'm
like,
sure
"That's"
they're not expensive though, because Katie does not spend money.
no, this is, like, high-end thrift store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it won't be too pricey.
No, no, no. I mean, we're not yeah. We would like to go to we went to Neiman Marcus the other day, like we told you, and it was like we were personal shoppers at Neiman. There's not one person in there because it was raining. And so we were like, "Well, we'll get an umbrella and walk to Neiman Marcus." There was not one human on the street, no cars, and
No,
nobody in Neiman Marcus on a Saturday in LA.
it's like the apocalypse when it rains.
I was like, "Did a nuclear bomb drop in Sherman
Yeah.
Oaks and we didn't know? Are we next?" It was the craziest thing ever. So the weather's gotten a little bit nicer, so we're gonna walk around. That's our thing for tomorrow. We're just gonna walk around to little shops like that and do some things, and then I'm recording in the afternoon. Yeah.
They have shops where they send all of the stuff that's been in TV and movies,
Mm.
if that interests you.
Well, Ingrid did wear her Meredith Marks dress.
It looked great.
Isn't
Yeah.
that crazy?
Yeah.
She went in Park City, and Meredith Marks has a jewelry store, but she also has, just like Ingrid said, it's like a rolling rack of
Uh-huh.
clothes, and on each item of clothing is a picture of Meredith Marks in that outfit, and it'll say like whatever is the brand,
Yeah.
retail is $2,000, and here it
Yeah.
is for 300, whatever.
That's
So
crazy.
Ingrid brought this hot pink dress that was from the Meredith Marks wore in a show.
Yeah.
And it was a couple $100, but she said there were other things that were there that were hanging up that were like $5,000-$6,000 outfits that they were selling for still 1 or 2,000 with like stains on it.
Yeah.
And Ingrid's like, I don't
But Meredith
know.
Marks stains.
She stained it at that dinner. She spilled her red wine
Well,
on it.
she doesn't sweat, probably. She's one of those women who doesn't sweat. And Mary Cosby, didn't she get her sweat glands removed or something?
Of course, of
She's not
course.
sweating. So,
No,
but I mean, they can't wear these outfits more than once if they're being
right.
photographed all the time. So good for her for reselling them.
By the way, it's not. I mean, it's not a bad idea.
No, it's a smart idea. Yeah.
I mean, Ingrid fell for it.
Yeah.
And then I saw that dress. I was like, I wonder. And then I saw how tiny it was. I was like, no, I can't wear that dress because I was thinking like that'd be fun if I could wear it too. But
Yeah.
no, it was Meredith Marks is a tiny like Ingrid, I guess. I was like, wow,
Tiny.
who knew? What's going on a date with Dateline this week? You said you're covering an old episode.
Yes, it's called The Perfect Life, and it aired
Mhm.
just a few weeks ago, but it was during one of our weeks off. So, and it's an update episode to one of the wildest episodes we ever did. And it's this guy, Remy, it's the craziest interview. Watch the episode, highly worth watching. Andrea has to interview this man. It's,
Oh my God! Wait, yes, that guy Remy. Oh my
screaming.
God! And he
He's
was
like,
the runner. He was
yeah,
the
he's the
yes.
marathon runner, and he's like screaming, and he looks like he's gotten like scurvy in prison because he's all sweaty and like it's
But he said prison's the best thing that ever happened to him.
yeah, he's Mr. Corporate America in
He's
prison.
killing it in
Yeah.
prison. Oh, that guy was what? That guy reminded me so much of the dad on the Natalia Grace.
Oh, that's a great yes. Very much. I kept
So
comparing him
dramatic.
to a certain orange politician. I don't know if that'll
Yeah,
save
I got it.
or Katie is going to take it out, but that
Similar.
he totally is. Yes,
Just so
he's
delusional.
Michael.
Like, what are you talking
Mhm.
about?
Yeah. Where he's
Yes.
always on and like rambling, and you can't tell where he's going, and it's just full narcissism. And yeah,
It doesn't make it, and it's like a bad theater production of like a
yes,
playing to the back of the room. Like,
yes,
we're all just right here. You don't need to yell.
yeah, You
Okay.
don't.
Oh,
Please
good.
don't yell at Andrea Canning too.
I
I don't
can't
like
wait.
that.
Okay, so that comes out Wednesday.
Yes.
Okay, I'm very excited
Well,
about that.
you're on our Patreon, so you get it on Tuesday.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Kimberly and Katie also have a great Patreon, you guys. So just plug. You know where to find our bonus stuff as we have Supercast and Patreon as well. It's called Pink Shade Prime. All the links are in the show notes, especially and also not especially, but and also where you could find Kimberly and Katie of A Date with Dateline. I got to get Katie on soon.
Oh yeah, she's down. She's gonna catch up with this season. I told her
Yeah,
she's only missed a couple episodes.
yeah, she's got to catch up on this nonsense. That's what
Yeah,
she's
but
got.
she
Yeah,
knows all these couples, so
of course, because they won't give us
they won't
anybody new.
do.
Everybody, make sure to follow us, Pink Shade Pod, on Instagram. And Thursday's episode will be Ingrid and I doing a recap of our LA trip. And boy, do we have some stories.
Yes.
We went to a psychic.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was just guess what? Terrible things are coming my way. Sorry to tell you guys.
Maybe. It seemed very confusing.
It seemed all very, yeah. Also, my daughter apparently has got a new guy, has moved to New York. What?
What? She doesn't know yet.
Interesting. Yeah, a lot of interesting things from that psychic that probably aren't true at all. Oh, also, Ingrid's going to start banging some young guy,
Yeah.
but
That's
she's
exciting.
married, so that's weird. It was fascinating. So we have stories to tell, lots of stories to tell. So tune into that on Thursday. And thank you, Kimberly, as always. And like I told you, so happy to see you in person, my little Polly Pocket friend.
You looked so beautiful. Mary
Oh,
Payne
that's
looks
nice.
young too. Her skin
Yes.
is incredible.
It's that age jet from John Reichert, man.
Yeah, I gotta get that.
I don't know what he did to me, but
You're a walking advertisement for that.
I was at dinner tonight and they were like, tell me what you did. I go, it's age jet. I have no idea what he did to me.
Wow.
I was huffing on that nitrous hookah. I didn't know what was going on. Thank you, John Reichert. If you guys are in Columbus, Ohio, check out Emerald Aesthetics, I think is what it's called. Yeah.
Worth traveling for, I think.
Yeah, it's worth that $90 Southwest flight. I'll tell you that much. Okay. I will talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Ads not read by me, Mary Payne, don't necessarily reflect the views of Pink Shade. If you'd like to listen to ad-free, you're going to go on over to Supercast or Patreon, and you can find the links to Pink Shade Prime at pinkshadepodcast.com.